going on, everybody? This is Tom Drabber. Hope you're having a great day and welcome back to another video. Alright, obviously as we all know, there are a ton of popular kids shows out there, you know, like the SpongeBob SquarePants along with all the Disney shows and all that stuff, but there was a time in Nickelodeon in which there were shows on T-Nick, which is a subdivision of Nickelodeon that were very popular, and usually they were by the creator of Dan Schneider, aka the leader of Schneider's Bakery, and he produced some of the most beloved shows that was ever produced for kids networking. However, unfortunately, in recent years, there has been a lot of controversy in regards to some of his behavior during the production of those shows during his time at Nickelodeon. Only recently, though, every single one of them has come into full circle. For this one, I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on the recent docuseries called Quiet on Set. This is my view on everything that has happened at Nickelodeon that was recently revealed about all of the allegations involving Dan Schneider and the network in regards to all of the things that were happening behind the scenes and why now it is only becoming a big deal. So I'll share with you everything about this docu-series and along with my thoughts on why I think this changes Nickelodeon and kids shows altogether. So as we all know, Dan Schneider is the founder and producer of Schneider's Bakery. This was a production company that was a part of Nickelodeon from the mid-1990s all the way to the late 2010s, and obviously he produced some of the most beloved TV shows there were on T-Nick. Obviously we're talking about the Amanda shows, the All That, you know, iCarly, Victorious, Zoe 101, heck, even brief shows like Sam and Cat, and more recently Henry Danger. You name it, you have probably seen it. Dan Schneider has created every single one of those shows, and every single one of those shows has been responsible for kickstarting the careers of so many actors and actresses that took part in all those shows. And obviously, as we all know, his shows have produced a lot of Emmy Awards as well. In fact, he's won a whole bunch of awards for so many of those shows, and as a result, he was even honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award during one of the Kids' Choice Awards back in, I think it was around the early or mid 2010s or something like that. I don't remember when that was, but obviously he was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award for all of his accomplishments and his successes during his time with Nickelodeon, and obviously that was such a big deal, not just for him, but also his entire company and for everybody that got their careers kickstarted because of him. So yeah, during that time between the mid-1990s and the late 2010s, there were so many shows that were created by Dan Schneider that were very popular, and some of the very best in regards to teenage networking, obviously, for that particular genre. And literally because of that, Schneider has been widely known as perhaps one of the greatest masterminds in kids and teens TV shows, obviously. I mean, there was just so much that he accomplished during his time that literally he felt like one of the greatest producers in this particular genre, and trust me, a lot of that really shows. Now, in spite of all of that, there was a lot of mixed feelings in regards to some of the scenes, in regards to some of the episodes that were aired from a whole bunch of the shows. You know, there were a lot of very weird scenes that might be really off-putting for some parents that might actually have some kids that enjoy some of those shows, and a lot of scenes that were at times downright disturbing. And obviously that has been a real focal point in regards to, you know, the way those shows are produced and why might still have a problem with some of them. However, there is a reason for that, and only recently was that fully exposed. Now, even before the docuseries aired, there was already been a bunch of allegations involving Dan Schneider in regards to abuse and a whole bunch of other behavior that he displayed during his time at Nickelodeon. In fact, there were a lot of times in which he was shouting profanities a lot and even abusing some of his staff and some of the actors behind the scenes. Heck, there was even an allegation once that he was even the father of Jamie Lynn Spears' daughter, which obviously we all know he produced Zoe 101, which she starred in and got her career kick-started in. And of course, as we all know, Jamie Lynn Spears is the sister of pop singer Britney Spears, which obviously that's for another dimension. But obviously I still don't know if there's full truth to that. Probably not, but again, we'll just have to wait to hear more in regards to evidence of that. Maybe that was a part of the docuseries. Again, I've only seen small snippets of it, but again, this was just some of the many things that were already alleged in regards to Dan Schneider, so some of the allegations against him, they were already well known before then. And because of that, around the late 2010s, he and Schneider's Bakery ultimately ended up parting ways with Nickelodeon as a result of that. And so Henry Danger ended up being the last show that he produced during his time at Nickelodeon, and there's been very scant signs of him ever since. But recently, a docuseries called Quiet on Set revealed almost everything we need to know, confirming most, if not all, of the allegations of Dan Schneider's behavior behind the scenes. There are a lot of things in regards to some of the snippets that I saw from the Quiet on Set docuseries that I just couldn't even believe. Some of them I probably already knew before, and others which were completely brand new. Particularly, like there are so many of those actresses and actors, and even some of the staff as well, that previously were part of shows that were speaking out for the very first time, and really, give it to them. Obviously, it's good for them to share their stories, and obviously, some of the allegations were very shocking in itself. We saw people like Alexa Nicholas, who was also from Zoe 101. She only recently came out for the very first time, and she also recently made an appearance on CNN where she discussed these allegations further. And so you saw so many people that took part in some of Dan Schneider's shows that were only finally speaking out as a result of that. But perhaps the most shocking allegation of them all, in my opinion, and the one that I think really rocks the boat, was the allegation involving Brian Peck. Now, obviously, he was one of the top stars at Nickelodeon at the time in regards to casting all of that stuff and for Schneider's Bakery, and he actually was hit with a lawsuit way back when for abuse that he did with a child actor, and obviously that was settled a long time ago, but now we're learning for the first time that actor that he had abused was Drake and Josh actor Drake Bell. He would actually reveal that he was the person that Brian Peck abused during that time, and obviously that was probably the most shocking thing in my opinion that came out of that docuseries, that he was the John Doe during that time, and I commend him for doing that. Of course, he has some problems of his own during his past that he also has to deal with, but hey, I really have to wonder now if any of that stemmed from that abuse that he suffered from Brian Peck. I mean, obviously, if it did, then I feel really sorry for him, but obviously, you gotta commend him for coming out and revealing himself the way he did, and obviously, it just only goes further into the allegations that were taking place during that time. But either way, this was just absolutely shocking, and there were so many other allegations that were involved that just to get ahead of it, Schneider actually did an interview with BooG. I really don't know how the heck this happened. In fact, this is pretty hilarious in its own, who played as the food stick guy from iCarly to talk about all the allegations against him. And for the first time, he actually really apologized for some sorts for everything that happened that took place during his time at Nickelodeon. But it was more sort of like a so-so apology. And yeah, obviously, whatever he was trying to do, if he was trying to quell down all the noise against him and really just, try to let everybody know that, what happened was in the past and he's changed, obviously, it most likely didn't work, because obviously once the docuseries ended up airing, everything just exploded in a full view, and now we're seeing everything really just take shape in regards to everything that he did during his time at Nickelodeon, and really rethink all we know about those beloved TV shows that we saw. Now, in regards to what I think, again, I've only seen snippets of the docuseries. I need to watch the full episodes very soon, just so that way I can really see exactly everything that was going on during that time, and really just have a full grasp of all the allegations against him. But again, most of the allegations against Dan Schneider prior to them, they were probably already well known before them. We've seen, a few articles during his time, or at least a few years before this docuseries aired. Heck, even the year that he separated from Nickelodeon, and even just, even allegations on social media and all that stuff. There were always so many allegations against Dan Schneider in regards to abuse and child pedophilia that he was already dealing with at the time. So these allegations, like I said before, they were already well known before then. But seeing this new breadth of evidence and everything that's going on that took place behind the scenes with him in charge during the docuseries, it gave me a brand new range of evidence that really covers everything that took place behind the scenes in regards to his behavior and some of what he did during his time. And trust me, if you weren't shocked by this, I don't know what you were watching, because obviously when you remember as a kid watching some of those shows and seeing some of those more off-putting and disturbing scenes and some of that stuff, you probably now get this feeling that what we're learning now from Dan Schneider may have resulted in some of those scenes. I know, I gotta wonder about so much of the staff that ended up having to deal with all of his abuse, and also some of the actors as well. I have to imagine, even though some of those actors really got their careers kickstarted as a result, some of them must have really had to go through a lot of trauma because of this guy as a result. And so obviously, again, all we know about the allegations against him were mostly from the docuseries and everything that we've already learned from him in the past. Again, we just have to see further evidence, in my opinion, to really see whether or not this really makes the whole breadth view of Dan Schneider even worse than it is. It's already bad, but I really want to see more evidence that comes out afterwards, more people coming out and sharing their stories before I can really feel like that Dan Schneider's legacy is toast. But again, they're already bad as is. And again, I don't know what Schneider was thinking in regards to his apology video, and especially having BooG of all people do the interviewing, but man, that was probably bad timing, and I really didn't know if it was going to work anyways, unless he was really genuine in regards to that, because obviously we can all see exactly what's happening right now, and I'm going to be honest with you, I won't be surprised if I start seeing lawsuits that are being filed against him very soon. But the reason why I'm sharing my thoughts about this is because I really starting to wonder now in regards to the legacy of all the shows that I just mentioned. You know, the iCarlys, the Victorious, the Henry Dangers, Drake and Josh, and all that stuff. The legacies of those shows, those are now under question as a result, because now we all know that even though they were successful, there was a lot of really disturbing behavior from Schneider, and maybe even some of his staff as well, that were really just in line with Schneider. You know, those that really were good buddies with him. A lot of those shows, they probably may have had a lot of abuse that were going on behind the scenes that really led to what we're hearing right now. And again, this really makes me wonder in regards to what's going on with the productions of these kids shows that are in live action, obviously, because while everything may look very good on camera and with the actors live as well, we never really know that, because until we actually see everything that's going on behind the scenes, then who knows? We don't get really the full view in regards to exactly what these people went through, and because of that, that's exactly why you still see so many parents nowadays, you know, talk about these shows, and why, you know, there has to be some sort of limit, and why, you know, obviously some of the things that may happen behind the scenes that can really play into what's happening in the actual show, why exactly parents might be concerned in regards to what kids might be watching nowadays. And again, Dan Schneider is not the only person that has used his fame to abuse these people. Obviously, we all know the Harvey Weinsteins of the world and all that stuff, and trust me, that was 2017. But this brings it into a whole new realm in regards to the kids side of TV production. And I have to wonder if he's not the only one that has committed behavior like this before in kids TV shows, obviously, in regards to producing of it. And obviously, I would be very interested in seeing if there is anybody else that gets exposed to this anytime soon. Now, am I saying that this could be the revival of the Me Too movement? Absolutely not. That was a long time ago, and I don't expect this to be the complete revival of it. In fact, I think the juice in regards to that movement has pretty much worn out as is. But I definitely feel like that this could definitely lead to further discussions on what we might be watching in regards to kids shows, and whether or not it is time that we start seeing regulation that really leads to, you know, better and safer productions for all those in the staff and also in the cast that are taking part in these shows, because some of these kids and some of these staff, they're going to grow up in the future and they're going to forever be traumatized by what they went through if we keep seeing stuff like we're hearing in this docuseries for the many years to come, because as I said before, they probably were not the only ones. There were so many others that probably came out before them that really went through this abuse and were too scared to review about them. I really don't know if they will come out as well, but either way, there are definitely a lot of people that are still traumatized by all of this. So yeah, props to them for coming out and sharing their stories about this. I definitely like to see if there are more. And again, I respect those that would rather have their privacy at this point. But again, this is just all part of what we've already learned about Dan Schneider before. A guy that has had such a successful career as a producer, but at the same time has had some really disturbing things about him hidden from him for such a long time before now finally exploding into the worldview. And I definitely feel like that what we're learning from this docuseries is definitely going to bring a much further discussion in regards to what we are watching in regards to kids shows and what can be done to make sure they are better to watch, and also to make sure that the staff and the cast are safer. Hopefully there will be change in the future in regards to that. Will there be? I don't know, but trust me, the allegations that we're learning about Dan Schneider has really cast a web in regards to the dark side of places like Nickelodeon and Schneider's Bakery, and I have to imagine that this docuseries has really put into question the legacy in regards to all these shows along with the entire network network of Nickelodeon. So that's just my take on this whole thing. I would like to hear from you, those that have seen this docuseries before. What do you think about everything that you're hearing? Do you think that this could be the start of the discussion in regards to what we're watching, in regards to the productions of these kids' TV shows? And do you think that this could be the revival of the Me Too movement in some sort of way in entertainment, but now in a new form? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I'll be more than interested in hearing your opinions about it. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's blogs, projects, or challenges, you name it, leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media, all links are in the description below. That's going to do it for this midweek upload. I hope you're having another great day, and as always, I hope to see you all again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.